Hello, welcome back to Zentangle Explore. My name is Esther Piszczek and I am a certified Zentangle teacher. And this is a class where we draw one Zentangle pattern really, really slowly. And we do it on small pieces of paper that you can hold in the palm of your hand. This is watercolor paper, but you can use whatever paper that you have on hand and use a pen. This is a 0.1 micron, but you can actually just use a ballpoint or anything that you have, a colored pencil even. So if you can hold a pen and draw a line, you are in the right place. And the whole point is to explore in your way, not in my way. So whatever way you want to explore this pattern is absolutely perfect. And we're going to do it really, really slowly. So we're going to start out with some nice breathing time to settle in and bring all of our attention here into this space. So if you'd like, get nice and comfortable in your seat. You can close your eyes if you'd like. I'm going to close mine. We're just going to breathe. Just find your breath. Nice inhale. And releasing exhale. Perhaps feel your body wherever it is that you're sitting or standing or lying down. Whatever part of you is touching the chair, the floor, the couch, the bed, the desk. Just feel that contact point. Bring your attention to the gentle pull of gravity that allows us to stay so close to the earth. Resting fully and completely, knowing that you are safe, you are supported, you are held in this moment by the chair, the floor, the foundation, the very earth that is beneath you is holding you, allowing you to rest, allowing your muscles to relax, allowing you to be truly held in this moment, knowing that there's nothing left to do but to breathe. Perhaps feeling that breath moving through your body as you gently inhale. Perhaps noticing a little rest at the top of the inhale before the release and the relief of the exhale. Perhaps noticing a little stop at the bottom of the exhale, a little turnaround, a little chance to rest for the inhale. Allowing yourself to breathe just as you are. No need to change anything. Just noticing your breath changes your breath. Noticing alone is enough. The awareness of your breath is enough. Just allowing that gentle cycle to continue just as it is, just following along as if you have a movie camera, watching to see what will happen next. And allowing it to be just as it is. And to bring our full attention from wherever it is in the world, right here into this space, into our body, into this moment, into this inhale or this exhale. Knowing that whatever we create in this class, in this moment, in this day, in this night, in this week, in this weekend, in this month, in this year, will be absolutely perfect just as it is, because we are creating it as we wish to. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay, thank you so much for breathing with me. It's so helpful, especially when we want to draw slow lines. It's so helpful to bring our attention into this space and just take a breath. So I'm going to change my camera and we will draw. Okay, so I have a couple pieces, more than one piece of small paper. This is watercolor paper so that I can add watercolor if I want to later. And you can draw on whatever size you'd like to. You can have more than one. So we draw on small pieces. This is a 01 micron, but again, you can draw with anything you want. That's a hotel pen. So literally anything that you have on hand will work just fine. And this is a tango called Florabella. It's got a beautiful name. It's April, waiting for flowers here in the US. And it's by Nancy Domnauer, who's a certified Zentangle teacher. And it has so many different ways to explore it. And you're going to explore in your way, allowing whatever I'm drawing to inspire you, but really answering any questions about what if I did this? What if I did that? You get to explore them. We're going to draw a really slow line. We're going to start at a point, and we're going to draw this big. This has some things that go inside it, so we're just going to give ourselves a break here and make this nice and big. So just a beautiful little petal shape, perhaps a leaf shape, maybe a teardrop shape. And then inside this shape is a super slow aura line. Now, if you made your beginning shape here pretty small, then you're going to want to put your aura line on the outside. Oh, I have quite the wiggle in my pen. And that is absolutely perfect. It's going to add character and definition and interest to my little shape. So I'm going to embrace that wiggle. Hello, wiggle. Welcome to my world. All right, we have our first shape. We're just going to draw this over and over essentially, but I'm going to start my second shape inside my first shape, making sure that I'm far enough away from that edge in order to draw my aura line. So I stop when I get to the edge, draw on the other side. Such a slow line. We're going so slowly today. So slowly, there are little gaps in my ink lines, and that is absolutely delightful. Now a little inside shape, a little aura line or railroad track that just mimics the line that came before. And that is essentially our tango. And so from here, you can go really anywhere. You can add another shape on the other side. You can rotate your tile. You can try drawing them upside down. You can say to yourself, how does this want to morph and change, if at all? Maybe you absolutely love this all by itself and you want to explore this for the entire class, and that's absolutely perfect. But what if you want to change the shape of this flower leaf or petal or whatever you want to call it? Maybe you want to make it bigger. Maybe you want to make it smaller. Maybe you want to make it fatter, wider. Maybe you want one of these leaves or petals to be short and one to be really tall. Maybe you want to do these all the way around in a circle. So you have these overlapping petals in a more of a flower shape. Just continuing to breathe. Soften the grip on that pen. Hold it so feather light that maybe your lines wiggle too. Maybe instead of having a smooth edge to well, this one I'm going to do a little bit on the outside here because I got a little close. So you can adjust that aura as necessary. You can run your petals off of the page. You can slow those lines down so slowly. I always think when I draw this way, my brain tells me if I draw really slowly, then I won't get anything done. When I draw slowly, I find that I really am aware of the process. It allows my mind actually to feel safe because I recognize there's no rush. I have a friend who says, slow and steady wins the race. And I often have to remind myself of that when I want to jump up and run around and do a million things and act an idea when I first get it instead of allowing it to marinate, to be able to think about it, to be able to see what else it maybe wants to be. Not all ideas come in fully fledged out. Sometimes they need some time to sit. Sometimes you need some time to ponder. Allow them to come into being in pieces, in delightfully slow ways, in quiet moments. And by drawing in this way, you're creating quiet moments for your ideas to sit and move around and marinate. This flower shape can be, it doesn't need to be a flower. I've created a flower, but I didn't need to. So now I'm going to really start to play with this shape and see what it wants to be. And you get to do the same in your very own way. Because this is a class that's all about exploration. And although I am exploring with you, I am not exploring for you. You get to have your very own experience. And whatever it is that you want to explore is entirely up to you. And in whatever way you want to explore. And just because each of these petals so far has the same shape doesn't mean that it has to. You can connect petals of all different types of shapes. You could have a whole mosaic of different shapes. Because really what you're drawing is a line. And a line can move and shift in so many different ways. And And how these are connected is completely up to you as well. And breathing and drawing lines. And whatever appears on the page is something that's absolutely brand new. So it can be embraced as a complete success because it's never been before. Even Nancy Domnauer, who created this tangle, has never drawn what you are drawing right now because you're drawing your version of it. And she was drawing her version of it. And while the inspiration is the same, the actual lines are not. I always think it's so important to celebrate every single line, no matter what it looks like, no matter what your brain is telling you about it. Every single one is an opportunity to slow down and to appreciate the value in doing so, and to appreciate the opportunity to see your beautiful lines form on the page. I'm so glad you joined me in order to do that. I was in an art class the other day and we were creating watercolor feathers. And the teacher is Amy Miracle at Mindful Art Studio, and you can check out her work. She is amazing. And people were getting stressed out about their feathers not being like her feathers, and they didn't like their feathers, and all sorts of rigmarole. And so she had suggested, before they create their watercolor feather, that they write at the top of the page, "bad feather," which totally cracked me up because it's a lovely little way to trick your mind. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're having the expectation that you're going to draw something bad, you will likely draw something far better than you anticipated. Whereas if you anticipate drawing something good, your negative bias in your mind is more likely to interpret whatever you've put on the page as not good enough or bad. The mind is such a tricky, tricky thing. And so that's why it's so important to appreciate every line, because every single line that you've ever drawn has brought you to this moment of drawing the line that you're drawing right now. If you really start to think about that, that's kind of mind-blowing. So these overlaps give you wonderful opportunity to add some sort of like a gray or color behind, or shading, or black around the edges, filling in these edges. These are really beautiful little motifs for adding color and some sort of really anything behind them. love these just simple line drawings because they give you so much freedom for exploring. And just because that is a thin little aura around the original drawing doesn't mean it has to be. You can play with widening it, shaping it, changing it really slowly while breathing. This would be a beautiful little tangle to explore on an envelope. With just a ballpoint pen would be totally fine, and some highlighter color in there would be really beautiful. Yellow or green or purple or orange or pink, especially with this spring season, at least here in the US. The spring season is upon us. And so whatever you're drawing, even if it looks absolutely nothing like what I'm drawing, I applaud you and celebrate you, allowing your lines to come into being. Bravo. And we can't see what's coming out of our pen. A line forms on the page. We have no way of knowing what else might become because we're not allowing ourselves to learn anything about what is. So when we see and embrace what's showing up, and we can make new choices, and we can change things, we can adapt, we can create movement. Just because we're looking to explore something new that hasn't yet been explored on the page or in our lives. That is a really empowering way to live. At least that's what I've found. When I do everything habitually and it's automatic, and I don't even know that I'm making choices, then I have no wiggle room. There's no space to choose anything new because I think that I don't have any choices because everything I'm doing is an automatic pilot. I've habitually done these things so many times that I've forgotten that even though it's a habit, it's still a choice. So I often like to ask myself, how might I do this differently, even if it's something simple? So that I can discover whether or not I'm doing it automatically, or if maybe there's some new way that I'd like to explore doing that very simple thing. Life gives us so many opportunities to make choices. The important thing is to realize that we're always making choices and that everything we do is completely our choice. Not our parents, not our siblings, not our spouses, not our friends, not the government, not the school. There definitely are guidelines and parameters, but there's a whole lot of freedom in how you navigate those guidelines and parameters. We recognize that we're actually making those choices. I find that life becomes a lot more fun. Government would have you believe you only make a choice once, and that's when you vote. But that's not true at all. You can start a new composition at any time. You could change the pen that you're using. You could change your idea completely about what this pattern looks like. You could turn these into, and this thought just came into my mind, so I'm going to explore it. You could turn them into wonky orbs instead of petals. They could have square tips or triangular tips. They could be rectangles. And somebody might say, well, if you change it completely, then are you still drawing the same tangle? And my answer would be, does it matter? If you're exploring what you want to explore. Because everywhere we start and everywhere we begin, even if we begin somewhere that we don't entirely like, is inspiration for something new. To be born and created by you. I often find that's how I create new tangles myself, is I'm trying to draw somebody else's tangle. And I don't have the pattern quite right in my mind. I don't really understand it. And so something new entirely comes out of it. And I say, whoa, wait a minute. I think that's an entirely new tangle. And I'm delighted. Slowing down, breathing, allowing your lines to really do whatever it is that they want to do today. Maybe they're wiggly, maybe they're wonky, maybe they're sleepy, maybe they're jumpy. Just see if you can breathe and watch without judging them, without having them to be anything but what they are. As teenagers mostly do, maybe not all of them, but a large majority, I would guess. Mom, Dad, I just want to be who I am. Without you judging me and telling me that I'm wrong. Your lines are just like that. They're unruly teenagers who are trying to rebel and do something new, to show you something new, to support you in embracing something new. If we're constantly scolding them and telling them that they're not good enough, we're really just telling ourselves that we're not good enough. And that never feels good. And we're the only ones talking, no one else is saying it. So why would we tell ourselves we don't feel good enough and that we aren't good enough? It just seems mean. And we could be saying, I'm learning something new. I'm having an experience. That experience has value. And I'm excited to see where that experience leads me, because I know it will always lead me somewhere else if I allow it to. if I don't try to force it and beat on it with my expectations and my ideas of not good enough. If I just watch, see what shows up, and ask myself, what new choice do I want to make? A new choice will appear. It's really magic. Life's beautiful magic. We're just wandering our lines wherever they want to go, and then celebrating. And that just brings a smile to my face. That it can really be that easy. I mean, you've never drawn these lines before, so how can they be wrong? It's a fine question to ponder. And I'm here to give you permission to affirm for you that everything you're doing is exactly right. Right now, just as it is. Slowing down and breathing and watching the lines appear on the page. That's all that's happening. It's so simple. And we allow that to be enough. Just breathing and drawing lines. Everything else just gets a little bit easier. I had an art show last week and I traveled in March and I didn't have a lot of time to create. I really honestly believe that I hadn't created anything and I was so stressed out about it. So incredibly stressed out about it. And one of my students in this class actually said, "Oh, I've been following along with Amy Miracle's Inchi challenge where we draw on 2-inch pieces of paper based on a one-word prompt." And she showed me all of her beautiful work because the challenge was already over. And she had followed along so beautifully for 12 days. I said, "Oh my gosh." I'd done this challenge before, but I was traveling at the time. And so I wasn't in a space where I felt like I could really focus on it. So I hadn't done it, I hadn't started it. But I was so inspired by what she did and her beautiful work and her beautiful lines, her beautiful explorations of these one-word prompts. I decided to dive in myself. I created for 10 days. all the while being super stressed that I didn't have any art for my art show. And by the end of that 10th day, just brushing my teeth, I looked in the mirror and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, you've been creating for your art show for 10 full days and you didn't even know it. I'd wasted all that time stressing and being upset about it. And on the 11th day, because there were 12 days to the challenge, my little inner critic popped up and said, oh, now it has to be good. Now it has to be as good as the first 10. Oh no, what if you can't do it? What if it's terrible? I allowed that to go on for about 30 seconds. And then I said, maybe a minute. I said, all right, you've done this for 10 days. You absolutely can do this. Just relax and do what you've been doing the entire time, which is drawing from an inspired place without expectation. And I finished the challenge and I framed the work and I put it on the wall and it is lovely. And I'm very grateful that I did not know for those first 10 days that I was creating art for my show. Because then my little inner critic would have had a field day with how it wasn't good enough and it couldn't be put on a wall and it wasn't worthy of being framed. And oh my goodness, the drama. I created all kinds of drama the other way, but in the end, I was doing what I needed to do all along. And it was such a good lesson for me about relaxing and trusting and allowing and recognizing that I'm really doing okay. And I'm being led and guided by my little inner intuition. And I don't need to know that I'm being led and guided. I just need to remind myself that I'm being led and guided. It was such a beautiful lesson in trusting and having faith and relaxing and just being me and doing the things that I want to do, that I'm inspired to do, and knowing that there's a greater purpose and a greater plan for all of it that is in my favor. And that is amazing. When I find that I live from that space, everything just becomes more magical. My awareness has become more magical. I'm able to really stay more present in the present moment and out of my head and away from expectations. And then I forget, and then something amazing happens to make me remember. And I remember once again that everything really is okay. And there's so many things happening in the unseen of my life, behind the scenes, things that other people are doing or thinking or becoming, that one day their paths will intersect with mine and allow me to inspire me to make new choices. And all I have to do is continue to do my own thing in my own way, delighting myself in however way I can until the moment of that intersection arrives, knowing that whatever I'm doing right now is exactly where I need to be, doing exactly what I need to be doing, and nothing has gone wrong. There's only one of you in the entire universe. What's the point in trying to be any different than you are? I think it's a good question. Worthy of exploration. I have to remind myself of that often anyway. I start comparing and forcing myself to do this, that, and the other thing, and expectations. Oh, and then I take a deep, deep breath and say, oh my, what if I was just me? Would that be so terrible? And the answer is no. It would be delightful because there's only one of me and there's only one of you, and you are delightful, just as you are. And so are your lines that show up on the page, just as they are. Okay, here are my explorations. I really love this pattern. I think, I don't know, I might be inspired to go add color or shading behind these or watercolor. It'd be really, really fun to play with all of these spaces. Maybe thicken some of my lines, add some drama and black. Thank you so much for drawing with me. I am so excited that you are here drawing. My camera does, there it is. Now I'm in focus. So I hope you love this pattern. You can take this and put it on envelopes. You can make a card of it. You can slip it inside a card or a note. You can leave it in library books. You can leave it on the bus. You can leave it at coffee tables. You can put a little love note on the back to brighten somebody's day. You can play with color or watercolor or marker or crayon or colored pencil, whatever you want to do, however you want to explore. It is uniquely yours. And I say own it and celebrate it. Bravo. So if you'd like to donate to these classes, you can do so at paypal.me/eternalpossibility. If you would like to see more of my work, you can go to eternalpossibility.com, and I look forward to drawing with you again.